And like the witchcraft stuff like felt cool too. Like it didn't seem weird. Like if someone's like, "Hey Nick, write a witch's spell," I'd just rip off like the fucking Haunted Mansion, like tail of a rat.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of shit. But like they did it really good. And hey there, boys and ghouls. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollow Weekly. Nick Rollins here with
George Ely.
And we're back with percentage number 50 for How Low Can We Go, where we review one horror movie at each percentage point from 59 all the way down to Rotten Tomatoes.
To zero,
all the way to zero. And just trying to see how low we can go until the movies start to actually suck. And
we're trying to find good stuff all the way down, and so far so good.
Yeah, there's going to be a point where I thought we were going to hit it today with The Craft.
The Craft.
Okay, so we're at 50%. Mm-hmm. 50-50 with The Craft.
Let's recap. So we have 51 we watched.
Oh, geez, we got to climb back up. Well, we got to do a pickup for Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We missed a percentage.
We missed 1%, so we're going to catch that back up.
Hold on, I'll look it up. And then,
so we started from the top, from 59 down. We did Scream 4.
Now we don't have to go through them all, but
The Mummy.
We did.
No, that's not even right.
We're gonna. No, it's all blurry. We're gonna do Hills Have Eyes remake next. We think.
Yes.
So I don't know. You can edit this out if it's not in place. We had made a big announcement we were doing Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed.
Yeah.
On our last episode,
and I was excited because the title sounded cool as fuck.
The title is amazing, and I like Hammer Films, and neither of us had seen it. And then we were researching it, and it turned out there's the thing that I hate most in horror movies, which was a gratuitous producer-inserted rape scene with an ancient Peter Cushing raping someone because the producer thought that would sex up the movie.
Yeah,
that's a quote. Right.
That's
so we were like, our point in this endeavor is to find movies that are unfairly rated. So if they're 50, they should be 60. If they're 60, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that movie was going to just automatically be like 20 for me.
How do you think that was on set? Producers like, I got an idea. Rape to sex it up.
Well, Peter Cushing and the actress hated it. They objected up and down, but like they did not relent. So that's a hot mess. We didn't want to go for that because it was going to go against what we're trying to do. So I think Hell Night was the one we did last, but that could be wrong. Anyway, because it's the last one we posted on Facebook. So.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
So anyway, on with The Craft. We just watched it, fresh in our heads.
Just finished it.
Yes.
It's at 50%.
Yes.
You were just looking up the news. It would open up to number 1 when it came out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it did really, really well for itself. It opened up at number 1. Its budget was $15 million. It cleared about 60.
So it did all right.
So it did all right. Well, for $96, that's it's a 1996 movie, right? So I liked it a lot with a couple of reservations. I have a feeling I'm going to be kinder to this movie than you are. What'd you think?
I liked it. No, I enjoy it. There's a lot of it just seemed like a weak script.
Okay.
Overall.
How so?
Well, the way people sort of got it, I thought was kind of weird. And the fact that like the Chris character got pushed out of a fucking window and died, but his other buddies who were just as shit, you didn't see them for the rest of the film. What happened to those guys? Why didn't they come full circle?
They didn't assault one of the coven, and he did. Not that was...
But they were still pretty fucking shitty.
They were pretty shitty. I was glad that they didn't die, but then they never showed up again, so it was a wash. But because I like them,
you know
they
what?
were
Actually, let me rewind. It wasn't a weak script. The thing that really bugged me the most, was the soundtrack.
Yes, I'm with you there.
There's a lot of 90s films where like they play like 90s music, and I'm like, fun. I like this.
Sure.
Definitely fits, but like just the fucking intro. It was playing that one song that was
Oh my god, the intro is the worst intro song in the history of movies.
I wish I could re-edit it. Just go through.
I don't know what that song is. It was so aggravating, and it went on and on. And then they dimmed it so like it was lower, but then it kept going. And
yeah, like they're in the house moving in, and you just hear this like blah blah blah.
Right, it was like muffled, like it was following them. Like I was like, yeah, this is no good. There's a couple songs in there like I liked the Portishead song that was during a chase scene. It's appropriately creepy song. The How Soon Is Now is pretty amazing, but I mean, for the most part, the movie just really, the music really dated hard.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. All right, well let's chronologically go through this because we just hit the opening. So it opens up. You're there. You're
in a plane.
You're moving with this girl to Los Angeles.
Rainy Los Angeles.
Rainy, tropical, swampy Los Angeles, which was cool. I mean, that was kind of like a hint to what was coming.
Yeah,
there was a lot of weather-related shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
And then the setup is that the three witches who are in the school, they need a fourth to complete their magic. She's the fourth. She's a natural witch. It never really covered whether they're not natural witches. It insinuated that they kind of read their way to it or figured their way out to it. Like they're not naturally talented, maybe.
Yeah. So I think the three at the school were sort of faker bellyachers with witchcraft.
Right.
But then the girl came. Right. And she really was a witch. And then she sort of like led them.
Yes. So I'll get into the reservations in a second. I really liked. There's some things I really liked. I liked the acting for the most part. I thought like Neve Campbell really sold like how miserable you would be if you were like a scarred, person. Like I felt for her. Like she pulled that off.
And then like the more troubled witch, which she like went like batshit crazy. Like she was kind of terrifying.
She was pretty intimidating.
Yeah,
for sure.
She was great.
So I liked the acting. I felt they really sold it. The movie, I expected more of a fantasy going into it because I'd never seen it or really talked to anyone about it prior to watching it. And it felt really grounded in some like real life shit. Like people going through some real stuff, what it's like to be, out of any possible group in school, to go through.
It did a good job at giving each of them like their the shit that they had to go through at school. So the one chick, I forget her name, Ben Stiller's wife.
I don't
was
remember her name either.
Real racist to the one girl. One girl was fucked up with body scars, and then the other one was like supposed to be like the like school slut or something like that. Like she was like they kept saying like, oh, she's the weird one, she's got diseases, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And all that shit. So I liked how it gave them all like something that they were like pushing through.
Yeah, and it felt, I mean, every movie tries to do like that backstory, like character development kind of shit, but it felt authentic. Like it felt like they were pulling it off. And, the authenticity, I think, kind of goes through the whole movie because I had looked up and they had a Wiccan consultant on set, like a real practitioner of the craft. And all the spells that were done in the movie are quote unquote real. I mean, like traditional supposed to work.
They got the stamp of a Wiccan approval.
They had the stamp of Wiccan approval. And interestingly enough, they said that a lot of weird shit happened on the movie while they were shooting.
I was wondering that when you told me that. Yep. Sort of like with The Exorcist, like weird shit happened.
Not as extreme, but like some really weird stuff happened. And what was also cool was like they said that there's a quote from the director Andrew Garfield who was like, a lot of weird stuff happened, but weird shit happens.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man. He goes, weird shit happens when you're shooting a horror movie. So like they were like, we're shooting a horror movie. That was one of the questions I had going to it. Is this a horror movie or not?
Yeah.
Like, so it definitely was.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Especially towards the end.
Yeah.
It's like teeny kind of film in the beginning and then goes into horror at the end.
I like that it kind of succeeded in creeping me out or making me uncomfortable in parts. The Neve Campbell surgery on her scars.
Oh, God.
Scene was.
Yeah. In the end, when all the snakes, spiders, roaches, scorpions came out, like bugs, make me feel weird.
Yeah, and the scene where Nancy is threatening Ghostface and she's kind of floating, dragging her feet on the ground.
That was a cool
and like the look she gave, like she was able to like twist her face into like a weird expression that was like actually kind of scary as shit, right? So like, I like that it still had that. Like, it didn't date out so bad that they had no teeth left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was cool, and like the witchcraft stuff like felt cool too. Like it didn't seem weird. Like if someone's like, "Hey Nick, write a witch's spell," I'd just rip off like the fucking haunted mansion, like tail of a rat.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of shit. But like they did it really good, and especially when they actually started like conjuring up like the witchy shit. Like it felt cool. Like even like this stuff like on the beach when she had Manos.
Manos, hands of fate.
Manos.
Manon.
Yeah, Manon, when they had Steve Manon.
No!
Go into her, however you want to say it. Like, it sounds weird.
Yeah,
but just, absorb his power.
Yes.
Like, even though the effects were, like, pretty dated, like, it still looked pretty fucking cool.
It did.
And, like, the sharks washing up on the beach, like, for as dated as, like, the music made it, and even how some of the effects are dated, it still is enjoyable. Like, it doesn't, like, fuck it up by any means.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny you say that because that I think that was intentional. The Manon comes into me part. Like, I think there was a lot of metaphorical things going on. And one of the things I thought was interesting was the movie isolated out. It blocked out. So we just watched the NBA, so I'm gonna have a bunch of sports metaphors. It blocked out the male adult authority figures, the coach and the parents and all that stuff kind of got blocked out. And as they were getting better and better with their powers, they were problem solving for themselves. Which was a really cool position to be in. Like, I liked that the movie was taking it to a place where, first of all, the occult stuff had an actual philosophy behind it. So it wasn't like hocus pocus. They weren't like just using it for the effects, right? There was like literally there was the scene where the bookstore owner was like, there's not good magic or bad magic. It's just like nature. It's both at the same time. Like, it had thought through what it meant, which I thought was really cool because a lot of horror movies drag in elements of the occult just to have them there, right? Like even The Conjuring, like I don't remember in the Conjuring series there being any kind of explicit, nod to this is the philosophy behind why things like this happen. They kind of just happen. I'll have to rewatch or if I missed it, but I don't feel like a lot of movies don't have that there. Or if they do, like a movie like Sinister, it's the backstory of one creature, not like the overarching, like this is the whole occult deal, right? So it really took it there. It did a great job with it. And then the next thing, when they're saying like, oh, this stuff's going to bounce back on you, it's going to come back in threes.
Yeah.
That's where it got weird for me because that did not happen. Right? Like it looked like it happened in the mirror, but it really did not happen.
It only really came back for the one girl doing the love spell for the guy because he came back all like he started out like sweet and nice, and then he got like fucking rapey,
right? Which
is weird.
So I don't know why that didn't hold true to the rest of the philosophy of the thing. Like
I think here's my guess. So if I had a guess, it'd be because Nancy, she was like the big crazy one, right? She took it way too fucking far and like was super like serious about being serious about it, while the others were just kind of like there. So I don't think their threefold was as strong.
Yeah, but they killed people. Like they killed the guy that was chasing her. And in the beginning, remember? Like they killed him, right?
Wait, which guy?
The guy got hit by the car. The guy who was walking around with the snakes.
No, I think he killed himself. He was in a busy street in Hollywood.
He took care of
because by then they were like actual witches. Like they had just done some shit.
Yeah, but they all thought it. Remember they had that discussion after like, I thought he was going to get by a car. Did you think it? Yeah, I thought it. And that's when they first realized they had power. I think they killed that dude. And then there were no real repercussions for them except for they have to live the rest of their life terrified that they have no powers left to defend themselves, right? And Sarah is like an ultra powerful witch.
That was my favorite part is because that's what I always think about movies like that, like The Conjuring and shit. Like there's always like some sort of like demon or ghost that like does all this bad. I'm like, how come there's not like a fucking superhero ghost who's just like beating the shit
right
out of all these guys? And I'm glad that like the not voodoo lady, the witch
Sarah, the main character. Right?
The store owner.
Oh yeah.
She was saying, you know, the one girl, what's it called? Invoked
the spirit.
Yeah,
right?
she invoked Manos, and she took it to the bad dark side.
You're gonna make me watch Manos.
But then she invoked Manos, and she went to the good side. And I'm glad that they fucking did that, because I hate when it's just like, well, this shit's bad, and you got to really do some dumb shit to get alive. I'm like, no, give me a fucking. If there could be a fucked up witch, give me the witch who can like hit her with thunder and shit.
Yeah, and Hands of Fate, he sent a message back when he sent a message back through Sarah saying you took it too far.
Yeah,
and now you're gonna have to pay for it. So that means that it is that part of the philosophy is accurate, that there is a balance and that they don't want the balance disrupted by someone taking it too far, which is cool. That means it's not like a Valak, situation, like whatever. It's a neutral,
you can balance it out if you try.
Which I thought that part was really, really cool too. I thought some of the scenes where, like, the sequences where they, like, literally the guy showing up at the house in the beginning with the snake was a little corny, because he was just there.
Yeah, he's like, I wanted to give this to you.
Right, which was weird. But the chase part, like, I was actually anxious for her. Like, she was panicked. She was trying to get away from that guy. Is genuinely creepy as shit. So, like, that was a thing. And then Ghostface gets, we're calling him the wrong thing. Ghostface gets so in love with her that he actually flipped and became really, really creepy, which was interesting because, creepy people in horror movies, they're like Captain Spauldinged up. They're like personalities times 10.
Yeah.
And his personality went away and he got creepier. They actually said, like, he's empty in the eyes. Like, there's nothing, he's not there. Like, he's got one purpose, which is just to find her, make out with her, carry her books, do like whatever. But when you think about, like, the changes people go through at that age, of the characters, not the actresses, because apparently the actresses were like 30 filming this. But you think of the sudden changes in personality. I mean, I knew people that age who, they would go away summer vacation, come back, and they were like totally different people.
Yeah.
Right? Which the movie was definitely hitting on, which I thought was kind of cool as shit that it was doing that the right way. Bad stuff. Effects were hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, it was in 1996, but there was just some where you're like, hey.
Well, some of the smaller, quieter effects. I thought the effect where Rochelle turns and looks in the mirror, and the mirror turns and looks the same direction. I thought that was really cool. Nice little touch.
Yeah.
The butterfly showing up during the first spellcast, the whatever, was kind of cool.
The hair changing was cool.
The hair changing still held up mostly, looked tiny weird, like whatever. But the lightning thunder effects, Nancy walking across the water, no go. That was.
What can you do at that point? The other no go being majority of the soundtrack, like 95% of the soundtrack.
Well, no, and there were some legitimately bad, like some of the segues are bad. One of the things you and I talked about while we were watching it that I wanted you to talk about a little bit was one of the things that I really don't like in movies is when they're like super on the nose. Like this movie was.
Yeah, like if you're gonna be like on the nose, fucking go for it. Like Mr. Robot, where it's like the bad guy is like Evil Corp. Like be that if you're gonna be on the nose, be that fucking on the nose, because like they're 100% on it, and you just buy into it, like it's just part of that world, and you're like okie dokie, like we're fine. But like we had, because like I always watch movies with the subtitles on, and when you watch it with subtitles, when a song plays, it tells you the artist and name of the song, and like all the songs were like My Curse, The Witch's Brew, fucking Witch Sandwich.
Right.
It was,
there were literally times where the song lyrics were syncing up to like the sign that we were walking past, or like the events that were unfolding on the screen were like.
Yeah, like My Curse or something like that.
Right,
and then they did a curse, or it was a lot of shit like that, which, I mean, if you don't watch it with the subtitles on, you're not going to be like, oh my God, is that?
No, the lyrics were pretty understandable. I think that was on purpose. And that's, like, I don't like when they're just like, look here with signs, and
someone thought it was cute, but a lot of the music just, even though the songs fit like what the film was doing, doesn't make it a right fit. Like,
No, correct.
like I could make a song called "The Craft" and it could just be me farting into a mic, and it wouldn't give them a reason to use it.
That's right.
Which is what half of the song sounded like, because it was pure fucking garbage.
I'm gonna make you prove that later. With,
I'll fucking auto tune my farts to "Do You Believe in Love After Love."
So that was. I mean, that was rough. And then there were some scenes where there were just some things that I wasn't buying and wasn't getting, because they were like when Sarah called the group out and she's like, "You've become this. You've become Nev Campbell's become. You're a narcissist."
Yeah.
Like that was pretty like out of the blue harsh. Like I felt like something got edited out or I missed something or whatever.
There was a lot of things that felt. Oh, that's crazy you brought that up. Where it just changes the scene, and then all of a sudden, you're like, everyone's motivation just feels like they just jumped a gap.
Yep.
And you're like, so why did this?
Well, you knew they were gonna get there, but how they got there so fast? Like
Like when the other two switched on Sarah, I feel like I missed.
Right, like all of a sudden they were friends, and then all of a sudden, boom, they were whatever. Which again, that kind of fits the adolescent, high schooly, like whatever thing. But it's weird
for a movie, though.
Like,
give me a reason.
There's you don't have that much latitude just because you're working with a subject. Like you got to put some work in. With that
was a really weird part. I think that's probably where like a lot of like the reviews came from. They're just like, none of this shit like kind of made sense.
Right. Well, that was a little. But I got to say, one of the things that I really enjoyed was, in a lot of horror movies, they get to the final scene and the showdown. Like I'm thinking about like a movie like Lights Out, right? Where they're trying to have like an emotional thing that's heading into the last scene that is powering the characters into that, like that showdown with like the evil forces or whatever. And in this one, obviously, because there's no evil forces besides possibly Nancy, you didn't have that kind of power. That wasn't powering them into the moment. But, the idea of your friends gathering and trying to convince you to kill yourself is authentically scary without supernatural elements, right? Then you give them supernatural powers where they can forge a perfect suicide note in your handwriting, and they can float above you and chant like shit. Like that, they took a showdown scene that was already creepy in its structure, and they added the supernatural elements to make it creepier.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. Like it was a great payoff for,
I was waiting for it. I knew she was going to like Hulk out or do something cool.
Totally.
And the ending was pretty weak of that whole showdown.
What do you mean?
The
mirror?
Yeah. Like because they had that weird transition from the mirror and then the fucking, we knew that was before. The dresser like smashed and she was gonna stab her clothes. But she basically just kicked her into a mirror and then was like, "You're crazy now."
Right. Yeah. Right.
I was waiting for her to do some like really fucking cool, like witchy shit.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that was weird. And then like, she was hiding there, invisible in the clothes, which didn't fool Nancy for a second. Like
she knew exactly. She was like, "You're just gonna pop." Not even. Right. Not today, baby. That's not happening.
Right, exactly. But then, like with all of the powers, especially the stuff that Sarah shows at the end, the fact that her main witch power is apparently a super kick out of Mario Brothers or something.
For some reason, I was just waiting for her to like Vader choke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just hold her hand and
and then, I think the end scene is pretty creepy with Nancy, like kind of in the asylum, like thinking that she's flying or whatever. It was a little bit overacted.
Yeah.
Right? Like kind of took me out of it for a moment, but just in concept, like I thought that was a pretty cool way to end it. But like you're saying, I think it's right. Like if Hands of Fate made her crazy, like we should have seen, which he did. Like which he totally did. Like we should have seen like kind of how that went down a little bit, because she's a good enough actress to pull that off.
And it was just all of a sudden she got kicked into a mirror and was crazy.
Right.
I would assume like some witchy shit happened to her, like some sort of like, what is it, a bound or whatever they call it, where like the spell stuck to you. I don't know. Fucking. I'm trying to think of like a video game that did that where I could just whip that shit out. Yeah, no, she just kind of like ended up getting kicked into a mirror, went crazy. I thought maybe her breaking the mirror had some, because that's, breaking the mirror is like they always say like 7 years bad luck or some shit like that.
Yeah, totally.
I thought maybe that had something to do with her.
Yeah, it definitely did. But that's the thing is like, that process. She could have acted that out, and she's a great actress, so she was good enough to pull it off, and they didn't give her the chance, so there's that abrupt, like, whatever, transition. So, but, I mean, in her defense, the odds of Manos Hands of Fate driving you crazy are, like, more than 50%.
100%.
Right, like, that's, you're going to end up kind of nuts after watching
100%.
That.
I wonder if they're, I was just thinking, like, did good bad flicks do anything on this? I'm like wondering, like, did a producer cut some scenes from that film?
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
That's what I want to know. I want to know if a producer screwed this movie up. If it could have been good. I mean, better.
Yes.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Where would you rate it?
All right. So we're going to do the rating. So here's the interesting thing to me is...
You mentioned this during the movie.
It definitely dated.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like in 1996, I think this movie would have been a really good 80% Rotten Tomatoes movie.
Yeah.
I think until they recut it with some different music.
Maybe add some scenes if there are any.
But I actually really, really liked it. I still think it's like a 75%. That's where I'd put it on Rotten Tomatoes. I looked up like action movies, drama movies on that are aggregated at 50%, and there's a lot of shit in there I've never even heard of. But there's an action movie called like White House Down. This movie is 20 times better
than
White House Down. I saw White House Down, and this movie is.
Oh, that's the Gerard Butler one, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I think that's I feel like it's a really, really good movie, and then you just got to give some respect to the influence it had and the fact that it tried to do things like real style. Like it was, I give movies high marks for authenticity when they put in the work to be authentic. Right? Yeah. How about you? Where do you put it?
Is that 50%?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to give it.
You sound like the snakes.
I don't want to give it a 60 just to give it a fresh rating. Like
Right. No. To be honest.
Oh God, 50 didn't seem fair when you're comparing it to White House Down.
Right.
Compared to White House Down, it feels like a 62, 65,
62.
So it's just fresh.
I feel like it's 61 in your heart, if not 59, but you're not saying it. But that's fine.
Yeah,
that's totally fine.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think it'd be way better if somehow they just bridge those parts where like all of a sudden the friends are turned fucking weird. Yep. And if you just changed some of the music, and not even all the tracks, like 4 of them.
Yeah, some of the music's perfect, but some of the other music is terrible.
Change the intro, and I'll give it a 75.
The intro, and there's some aggressively annoying songs in there because those songs all sound like drones swooping in to bomb ISIS. So like it's like they don't match. They were just using them because they were of the time. They had a cool song
or title.
Right, exactly. But they literally tonally were like way off, or at least they're off now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But no, I mean, even though like I'm not like, oh, it's a 50%. It seems like 100. Like
no.
It's still
we're being honest all the way through.
It's still I still enjoyed it. And like I wouldn't have watched it if we hadn't done this series. Sure. But I'm glad we did because there was a lot of cool shit, and I'm glad I got to see some sort of good witch bad witch fight.
Yep.
Even though it was kind of lackluster. I'll take it because there's not a lot of them.
There's not. Well, and that, there's not a lot of them. And there's also like not a lot of, I mean, we're going to get looking into the future of 2017, 2018. We're going to get so many like Insidious 4s and like whatever to have something that's like, not aggressively malicious, a movie that represents balance instead of like
just
straight up good versus evil. Right. It's so refreshing that fucking like I'm all in. I feel like that I'm going to rewatch this movie in a year, and that's one of the things I use to mark to myself whether I enjoy something. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I don't know if I will.
No, you definitely won't.
I will say
you will when it comes out with new music.
I will say if you're wanting something to watch on a Saturday, Sunday evening, and you have no idea what to do, or you see it on TV, watch it because it's not a bad movie.
That's actually another good point. Is I love weather movies. I love having movies when you're like, there's a certain kind of weather going on. You're like, that just puts me in a mood to watch like whatever. This is a great example.
I did like The Rain.
Yeah,
especially because it takes place in LA and. And that's where we are. So.
Yeah, we need some rain.
Right? You're like, all right, okay.
Right. Come out of the TV like Samara. Just leak out and we'll leave it.
Well, no, apparently every fucking house in that movie leaked.
Yes.
They moved into their house. We need to get the roof fixed. The chick living in the trailer, she had fucking bowls full of gross rain roof water. That's kind of nasty.
She totally did.
But no, I enjoyed the film. 50%. I don't agree with the 50%.
Yeah, I don't agree.
So, but now we got to see if we don't agree with the 49%.
Yeah, and we think we now have made our first change after announcing what we're going to do. So, you know, we're
planning on watching the Hills of Eyes remake.
We're planning on watching the Hills of Eyes remake.
That was the thing is we didn't watch the Frankenstein film because there was just like a producer added rape scene, which is weird. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Doesn't the Hills Have Eyes? It wasn't that one of its big fucking things?
I don't think it's as bad as the original. But we'll see. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Well, I just know I enjoyed the movie when I saw it. And it made me feel gross. So that's probably what the Hills of I should do.
Cool.
Okay, so until then, join us next time. We're going to be pumping these suckers out at a leisurely pace. All right. Stay scary. Talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.